14th Amendment to the Federal Constitution, it has not been necessary for a person to be a citizen of the United States in order to be a citizen of his state. Did y'all hear that? So that's two different classes. How many people knew that? That it was a difference. This is a court case. Now I want you to notice the case. See, it says United States is upper and lower and state is lowercase. Always pay attention to how things are styled, capitalized, because they all mean something in law. Somebody got a piece of mail in their pocket, like from bank, whatever, without showing your business. And what style is it? What style is it on that document? All uppercase. Is that your name? It's your name. You believe that. But I just said law is precise. So let's look at this. Let's look at it. Let's look. This is a manual of usage and style out of Texas. This is the Texas Law Review. Okay. So let's what it says about proper nouns. You know a name, what is a noun? Person, place, or thing, right? Okay, right? So in here, it says, go to it. Let's find it. Proper nouns and common nouns. Capitalize all proper nouns, meaning the first letter of that, like my name is Akeem, so A would be capitalized, rest lowercase, right? Is that like that on your paper? So is that your name? Walk around, baby. Next time. Oh, so it's not your name, right? So we established that if that name is in all capitals, it's not you at all. Doesn't represent anything, but we have accepted a lot of things with these all caps or not even paid attention. We just looked at the spelling. Somebody tell me how many letters are in the alphabet. This sounds like a trivial question, but I got it wrong. 26. Anybody else with a different answer? Wrong. Everybody in this room got it wrong. It's 52. 26 lower, 26 upper. Remember how the teacher taught you? She put the capital letter over here and the lowercase over here. You see what I'm saying? It's 52. So if his name is in all caps and then it's not properly formed, and this is a law review book showing them how to style legal papers. So when I go into courtroom and I see my name in all caps, we got a problem here. Like, I'm sorry, I see that looks familiar. The letters are right, but the styling is wrong. This is not me. We can't do anything with this case until we fix that, no matter what it is. And they're putting your name in that way for a reason. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I just wanted you to pay attention because everything I'm showing you leads up to what I'm going to show later. So the citizen of his state, it's got it lowercase, so that represents a foreign jurisdiction. That's why it's saying citizen of his state, right? So United States versus Cruikshank, I could be pronouncing that all, 92 U.S. 542 49 1875. That means that if you want to find that case, you type that in, that case took place. Slaughterhouse cases, these are all of the authorities. Whenever you see these, this is what courtrooms use as authorities to make a point, to prove their case. They call them authorities, or they call it, another word is, in layman's terms, case law, but you'll never see them use case law in the courtroom. They'll say points of authorities. So if you're fighting a case, don't say case law. Use points of authorities, in this case, such and such. Citizenship of the United States is defined by the 14th Amendment and federal statutes. But the requirements of citizenship of a state, see, they did it again, lowercase. What? They did that for a reason, because the state has a name, right? We're in Georgia. So I'm going to say Georgia state, right? But Georgia would be capitalized, as G would be the capitalized letter. Giving y'all a bit of English lesson here. But the requirements of citizenship of a state generally depend not upon definition, but thank you, appreciate that, but the constitutional or statutory context in which the term is used. Let's skip down. The decision illustrates the diversity of terms usage. They're just telling you, terms have diversity of usage. See, most of us only know one point of view of a subject, and even that point of view is wrong. You know? In Phil versus Adrian, 7 MD 209, 1854, our predecessors held that a unnaturalized foreigner residing and doing business in this state was a citizen of Maryland. See? That points to you, citizen of Maryland. Within the meaning of the attachment laws, the court held that the absconding debtor was a citizen of the state for commercial or business purposes. Although, so they're saying you could be a citizen of the state just for commercial purposes. Only. And there's a lot of citizens of the state that are not even living. They call them businesses. So when you register your business, it becomes if I measure here in Georgia, it becomes a Georgia state person or a Georgia state citizen. But if I come from Colorado and register my business here, it becomes a foreign corporation or foreign business. You see? So businesses have citizenship just like you have citizenship. But what they have done is they took the living blood and converted it into that all caps, because that's a business that they're referring to. That's why it's in all caps. It's an acronym for a business. In another place, you'll find all caps is on the tombstone. That's when someone's deceased, they death certificate come out all caps, and they put that all caps on the thing. So that means that the government, if they handing you a document in all caps, consider you civilly dead. This is why black, white, all of these people don't have rights, because they're civilly dead. But only one place you could be called civilly dead. Someone's got to take you to court, sue to take away your civil rights, and say he's civilly dead. And that's what all black people are, civilly dead. So if I'm on TV claiming that, I'm civilly dead. So I could break all the windows I want, yell and scream around all I want, I'm civilly dead. The court held that okay, we read that. Although not necessarily for political purposes, and it's to the same effect. Judge Alvey for the court said in that case that the term citizen used in the formula of the affidavit prescribed by the 4th section of the article of the code referred to is to be taken as synonymous with inhabitant or permanent residence, right? Other jurisdictions have equated residence with citizenship of the state.
Peace. What's up? It is Sunday, August the 24th. August is gone. It's September, basically. A few more days. It'll be September, another week. And I'm drinking my Santa Ana. Got to get ready for today's show. Got to get right. Got to call down the wisdom of Sophia, the wisdom of the divine feminine, the wisdom of the divine masculine. Need them both. Can't have one without the other. Can't have feminine without the masculine. You can't have masculine without the feminine. And all those trying to solely separate from that will always live in utter chaos. The yin and the yang. It's the left and the right. It's the up and the down. It's all one complete unity. It's called the Holy Unity. Then there's also the Holy Trinity. Man, woman, child. Yes, that's the Holy Trinity. Trinity. Then I'm going to read these scriptures to you before I even say what the then is. Because there is a then. Then there is something we have totally overlooked. And let me read this to you. Let me read these scriptures to you. Let's start in Exodus 13:12. First, thank you for all of those, the few that are listening. And if you are the few that are listening, you're in for something, you're for a treat. Everybody else that missed, they just miss it. It ain't for them. The message is not for them right now. It's for you that's listening. It's for you. So, give me a second. I want to do something here. I want to. Let me send this because I'm going to go deep on some stuff. I was doing some studying, but let me handle this first. I guess that's it. All right, so I was reading some scriptures. Actually, I was listening to a video of Sophia Stewart, and she said the word matrix was mentioned 5 times in the Bible. I was like, what? Now, I've saw that interview before, and I just overlooked that, right? I said, really? The matrix is in the Bible? And sure enough, it is. I'm going to read every scripture to you. It says, Exodus 13:12, that thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix, and every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's. Openeth the matrix. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both of the firstborn man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore, let me make sure I'm coming through good here. I got to make sure. I didn't check when I first got in. Yeah, I am coming. Let me, good. It said, firstborn of beast, therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. Exodus 34:19, all that openeth the matrix is mine, and every firstling among thy cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. So basically, these scriptures saying the firstborn male is supposed to be given up to God, the Lord. And if you remember, Samuel, all of the prophets, most of the prophets, they were sent off to the temple to remain in the temple after they got to a certain age, to be raised by the church or the temple. Numbers 3:12, and I behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all of the firstborn that openeth the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore, the Levites shall be mine. Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beasts, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstling of unclean beasts shalt thou redeem. So matrix in this regards mean the womb. The womb that gives birth that brings into this dimension physical life. And I was like, wow. Here we so casually say, oh, those people are part of the Matrix. They the Matrix. That's the Matrix. That's the Matrix. Made the Matrix an enemy. Why? Because we saw the movie The Matrix and we didn't really understand the context of what that word was meaning. The way they produced the movie. And of course, we know that work was stolen work from Sophia Stewart. And her name is Stewart. I mean, Sophia means wisdom. And she was like, they didn't even understand what they were making. They didn't even understand the word matrix because they never even read the Bible. Now, when the interviewer was interviewing, you could see he was lost in what she was saying because what she was saying was so high level over his head, he didn't get it. And it was high level over my head for a point until I dug deep and started understanding what the word matrix mean and what people's names mean. So that means all of us come from the matrix. We came from our mother's womb. So we are from the matrix, the divine womb of our mom. See, now I see why the powers that be want to create all of these pronouns and confusion. Because if everybody's confused, they're not connected to divinity. I understand why. He, they, her, they, wow, this and that, bow wow, and whatever. I understand now why they want to confuse the men and the women into their sexuality. Because everybody has a divine role to continue life here in the physical form. But the physical form is just a manifestation of the spiritual form. So start off spiritual. So while I read The Matrix, and I was like, okay, if the womb is the Matrix, and then I had this thought, like, okay, God went to Mary and said she would deliver the Savior. So what does the name Mary mean? And at first I was like, oh, when I was looking up the word Mary and I had to dig a little deeper, it says the first thing I got was the etymology of Mary. The name Mary, Greek Maria, Hebrew Miriam, has layered meanings. In Hebrew, Miriam has been linked to roots meaning bitter sea, beloved, exalted, meaning exalted. Rebellion from Mara. In Aramaic, the form Miriam is often read as lady of the one who raises. The sea element yam is important. Seas and waters are ancient symbols of the primordial womb. Right, I would agree with that, right? Because where do you come? You come through an amniotic fluid, a sea, through your mom's womb. Your mom's divine portal. Mary as archetypal womb in Christian mysticism, Mary is the Theotokos, God-bearer, the holy womb through which divinity incarnates. Symbolically, she embodies the matrix. Literal womb, she carries Jesus in flesh or Messiah in flesh. I prefer the word Messiah because we all know Jesus is a new name, a new, AKA title they created. It's just really Yeshua, right? Cosmic womb, she is the archetype of the divine feminine, the sacred vessel where heaven meets earth. So Mary, that name Mary, means the matrix as well. So that means the divine architect, divine masculine, impregnated Mary, or the womb, in the womb of the divine feminine. So when you stop and think of how this system right now is trying to create a divide between the masculine and the feminine. Trying, they are. And people are buying into it all day long. Anytime you scorn something, you will never have it in its proper form. Let me say it again. Anytime you scorn or reject or scoff or put it down, anything, and specifically I'm talking about a man or a woman, you will never have it in its divine form. So that means you will never have a divine relationship with that man or woman. So if you feel like you're one of those that you're better than a woman or a man, or you have these high or these dysfunctional, I call them dysfunctional, opinions of a man or a woman, don't think you're going to have a good relationship. Do you realize there's people out here wanting good relationship, but at the same time, they scoff at that woman or man that they claim they want, that good woman or man? I laugh when I see it all the time. Like, how do you think you are going to have a good relationship with a man or a woman if you have such a negative opinion of them? How? You can't. Because you're with your hearts, your heart speaks the truth of who you really are. This is why so many people are sitting in homes alone, cold and alone. You have to be just like we talk about prosperity and money, and you have to write down what you want and be thankful for that. You have to be the same way, thankful for that man or woman in your life. Stop looking for so much perfection when you're not even close to it. He without sin cast the first stone. Meaning, look at yourself before you look at someone else. So let's keep going on this thing. This subject of Mary. Mary, an archetypal in Christian myth, Mary is a Thea. I think I read that. Symbolically, she embodies the matrix, literal womb. She carries Jesus in flesh. Cosmic womb, she is the archetype of the divine feminine, the sacred vessel where heaven meets earth. This is why many church fathers and mystics compared Mary to Eve reversed, the one who brings life where Eve's act brought death. Ark of the Covenant, a holy container of divine presence. Temple or earth itself, a living matrix receiving divine seed. Connection to the other traditions. Many functions as a Christian crystallization of the ancient matrix archetype. Egyptian Nut Isis, Mary as sky mother or nurturer. Babylonian Tiamat, Mary is a sea mother but sanctified, no longer chaos. Platonic Korah, Mary is the receptacle through which the word logos becomes flesh. Gnostic Sophia, Mary is wisdom embodied, redeeming the fall. Vedic Shakti, Mary parallels the feminine energy that makes God manifest. Kabbalistic Shekinah, Bina, Mary is the indwelling presence of God in a wombed form. Symbolic titles of Mary. Mary inherited ancient womb matrix symbolism through her titles. Stella Maris, star of the sea, recalling primordial waters. Maida, Dei, mother of God, direct matrix function. Maida Ecclesiae, mother of the church, the mother womb of the community. New Eve, restoring the cosmic womb to purity. Esoteric meaning. Esoterically, the name Mary plays into matrix by symbolizing the sacred feminine matrix of incarnation, the universal womb principle, purified and sanctified, a bridge between the unseen divine and seen material, much like the matrix as womb in all other ancient traditions. In short, the name Mary embodies the ancient meaning of matrix, the womb, the sea, the feminine source of life. She is the Christian archetype of cosmic matrix, both literally mother of Jesus and symbolically the vessel of divine incarnation. So there you go. That's Mary. It's more. It's so much more. So much more. Okay. Then I wanted to know about Joseph. What was his role? And here it is. Joseph, as guardian of the matrix, in the gospel, Joseph is not the biological father of Jesus. His role is protector, steward, and guardian of Mary and the divine child. Symbolically, Joseph is the one who safeguards the womb matrix so that the divine logos can come forth without interference. This mirrors ancient traditions where the feminine womb is generative and the masculine energy provides protection, structure, and legitimacy. So the masculine role in the physical world is to provide protection, structure, and legitimacy. And one of the reasons we are in trouble is because largely this system has promoted to everyone, not just to women, to everyone, that men are not protectors and provide structure and legitimacy. That is not the primary goal, to look for that in a man in this system. And without that balance, those three things I just mentioned, we have chaos. Because without the protection, who's protecting the divine womb? Who's structure? Who's providing the structure, the shelter for the divine womb? I mean, in a way, we see it. Men build homes and build, our infrastructure. Mostly men are doing that work. Yes, there are some women in that work, but women do not typically seek to go do that type of work, working in the elements under harsh conditions. That is not instinctually what they would want to do. It's men who do that. Women are supposed to be under the protection of the divine masculine. That is everything starts off in the spiritual realm. As above, so below. And if you have to have that spiritual structure in place, the understanding, overstanding, understanding of spiritual structure in order to bring the proper structure to the material world. So if your mind is in chaos and doesn't know the role it's supposed to play in the matrix, in this realm, then everyone's lost before they even get here. This is why the attack is always on the divine feminine, on the woman. The attack is always there first. Although it doesn't seem that way, it is there first. Because you attack her mind, get her thinking off track of her own divinity. She's the one giving birth to everyone. And if she's off track, what do you think is going to happen to her, the child? She makes first contact. First contact is in the divine womb. 9 months. She has exclusive control of that seed, of that fetus. Exclusivity. I've had some women debate me on that. No, it's both. It's both. Yes, it is both. But men don't have exclusive jurisdiction over a child for 9 months. Totally. First, from the moment conception is there. The child is conceived. She has exclusive. She has a 9-month head start. And even after that, she has exclusive jurisdiction and control. And that's why proper education, proper spirituality must be delivered to that female mind. And proper spirituality must be delivered to that male, but through the female, the child gets it. Because he's there. She's there. No man, there is not one man, not one woman on this planet that did not come through a divine womb or become through Mary. The matrix. We all came through the matrix. The divine womb. That's where we come from. That's how we started in this physical world. So what is Joseph is the protector, steward, guardian of Mary and the divine child. Symbolically, Joseph is the one who safeguards the womb, matrix, so that the divine logos can come forth without interference. So the masculine role is to make sure the logos, the Christ, the Jesus comes through the womb. And this also supports what I've always said. The Christ is you. You're the Christ that is born again or coming again. Over and over, so many Christs are born every day in hospitals, home births. See, the church wanted you to think that Christ was only one Christ and look for this one Christ. He's coming back again. No, that Christ came for that time, but all of these new Christs have come through. All of them.
To who?
What is this? See, I'm not talking to Siri's trying to get in my business. Turn Siri off. Turn that off. All of these Christs all of the Christs are coming through daily. See, if we could just see that everyone is divinity, then where would our problems be? If we saw everyone as Christ, man, woman, child, everyone as a Christ, how much confusion would be gone from us? No, the reason why we have confusion is because we got so many labels that man has created for us. Oh, he's fat, she's skinny, she's not smart, he's not smart. We have all these labels. Oh, he's a lawyer. He's a doctor. He's this. We call ourselves all of these things. We pick subtitles. We pick titles that fit what we do in this world. But we really, as a soul, as a spirit, we only have one title. We only have one divine title. That we all are Christ. We all are. It's my My notes. This mirrors ancient traditions where the feminine womb is generative and the masculine energy provides protection, structure, and legitimacy. Etymology of Joseph. Joseph, Hebrew, Yosef, so it's Yosef. He will add, increase. This implies multiplication, growth, expansion. He adds strength to Mary's role, ensuring the divine life is nurtured into the world. Just as Mary embodies matrix womb origin, Joseph embodies patronage and provisions, the one who ensures the seed comes to fruition. So that's the masculine role, to make sure that seed comes without interference, provide protection. Archetypal role. Joseph plays into the matrix archetype in several ways. Guardian of purity. He ensures Mary's sanctified womb is untouched, preserving the divine conception. Silent witness. Joseph is largely silent in scripture, embodying hidden support rather than overt power, like a protective frame around the sacred womb. Lineage, bearer. He brings Davidic legitimacy, grounding the heavenly birth in a lawful earthly line. Archetypal father. Though not by blood, he fulfills the role of earthly father, protecting the logos as it emerges from the matrix. Now, how many men are taught this? Like, how many men are given this? If you understood that this was your role as a father, I know that we would have a lot better childbearing experiences. Meaning, we would, if a man knew this is his role, he would definitely pick the right woman to have a child with, someone with the Sophia spirit or wisdom. Same thing with a woman. If she understood her role as a divine matrix that brings life into this world, she would pick the right masculine energy to do that with. See, we've been taught to look at the physical, the beauty and how good, and what the eyes long for and sees, not the spirit. And this is what caused most of us to get into relationships, because we physically found that person attractive, nothing else. Physically, or even on a dysfunctional level, you might have liked someone just because something they said that had nothing to do with spirituality. Parallels in other tradition. Joseph archetype resonates with male figures who guard the womb matrix. Osiris, Egyptian, protector partner of Isis who births Horus. Zeus, Greek myth, protects Leto while she births Apollo Artemis. Shiva, Vedic, consciousness that allows Shakti's womb energy to manifest. Teferet, Kabbalah, harmonizes with Shekinah, protecting her presence in creation. Joseph equal the masculine pole that protects, legitimizes, and harmonizes the feminine womb of creation. Esoteric. Mary equal matrix, the sacred womb vessel of incarnation. Joseph, guardian, the protective womb, the lawful steward. Together they embody the ancient sacred polarity. Feminine generative origin, Mary as cosmic womb. Masculine protective order, Joseph as guardian of the womb, or guardian of the galaxy. In short, Joseph plays into the matrix as the guardian legitimizer, the select protector of Mary's womb. Without him, the womb could be vulnerable. With him, it is preserved, honored, and shielded for divine manifestation. And I would have to agree with that about Joseph Rose, because in this world of this system, the woman has taken on an anti-Joseph, meaning an anti-protector, someone who has come in to fool her into accepting their leadership and guidance like the government, especially in a people of color community. You have nothing but in places like New York, in the big cities, you have abortion clinics everywhere coming in as a friend. No, get rid of that child. You have your whole life over it. Get rid of that Christ you're about to give birth to. That divine child that's coming through your womb. Get rid of it. Contaminate your womb. Pollute your womb by allowing us to infiltrate your divine portal and pull that Christ out of you before it gets here. That's how deep it gets. See, make no mistake. These systems know exactly what they're doing. It's you that don't understand what they're doing. It's us that don't fully understand what the game is. They know exactly what they're doing. This is why you had such chaos coming out of certain communities. Because the divine feminine has accepted and allowed this system to be her anti-Joseph and believe in it. Yeah. Has allowed themselves to be misled that they're being protected by a system that hates them and hates their seed, hates their legacy. And going against the divine masculine that's been provided for them to be their protector, provider. And provide structure. Yeah, see, you're going to get structure from somewhere, good or bad. Depends on what you accept. In short, Joseph plays into the mix as a guardian, legitimizing, and silent protector of Mary's womb. Without him, the womb could be vulnerable. With him, it is preserved, honored, shielded for divine manifestation. But everybody's got to be working in their divinity. This is why it's very important that woman gets divine education. And we all know that the secular educational system is not delivering anything, any type of divinity out of it. Okay? So let's look at it from a family point of view. Archetypal mapping: Mary, Joseph, Jesus, man, woman, child. Woman as matrix, Mary archetypal role, the generatrix, womb, vessel of creation. Today, a woman embodies the matrix principle not only biologically in pregnancy, but spiritually. She is the nurturer, incubator of life, dreams, and community. It's an incubator of life and dreams. So she has this womb. She's incubating a dream, a possibility, new possibilities. Because with every being that gets here, there's new possibility, new inventions, new creativity. This is why she must be preserved and protected. You know, but you have to be something that is someone who is exhibiting divine principles in order to get proper divine protection. Archetype: she holds the field of becoming. What is planted in her seed, idea, level of vision multiplies and is born into the world. What is planted in her seed, idea, level of vision multiplies and is born into the world. Man as guardian, steward, Joseph, archetype, role, to protector, structure giver, steward. Today, a man provides covering, support, and legitimacy to the woman's creative matrix. He doesn't usurp the womb. He honors and safeguards it, ensuring that what she carries can be brought forth safely. archetype. He is the frame around the canvas, the shield around the womb, the one who adds strength. Yosef equal increase. Child as manifested logos, Jesus archetype. Role, the fruit, the word made flesh, the visible result. Today, the child, biological or symbolic, is the manifestation of man and woman's union. Beyond biology, this can be literal child, new life, creative child, a shared vision, business community, spiritual child, legitimacy, wisdom, tradition passed on. The family triad, a living matrix. This forms a universal triad. Woman matrix receives, nurtures, multiplies. Man guardian protects, sustains, legitimizes. Child manifestation equal becomes the fruit continuation of logos. When balanced, the woman's womb matrix is respected, not exploited. The man's strength guardian is protective, not oppressive. The child fruit becomes a living testament of harmony, incarnation of love, order, and creation. So, implications for today. Families. Every family recapitulates this pattern. Mother as life bearer, father as protector, child as continuation. Society, when the archetype breaks, womb unprotected, man dishonoring, child uncentered, chaos replaces creation. Spirituality. Spiritually, man, woman, and child together mirror the divine creative process, womb, seed, and fruit. In short, woman equal Mary equal matrix. Man, Joseph equal guardian. Child equal Jesus equal manifestation. This is the internal template of how divine creation expresses itself in human families. The holy archetype of man, woman, and child. There you go. That's the family. That's the way the family. That is the true family structure. All right. So how does God play into all of this? Let's look. How God plays into the matrix archetype. God as the seed logos in Christianity and mystery. Mary is the womb matrix. Joseph is the guardian. God is the true father. The seed, the word, the logos. This means the origin of creation is divine, not merely human. God is the one who plants the seed of life into the matrix, making possible the divine child, Jesus. So with that being said, without creation cannot happen without masculine. Creation cannot happen without feminine, because God must have a divine matrix, a Mary, to plant the seed in, to create. So the architect is the masculine, the thought, the wisdom, because you need wisdom to bring things to life, is the female. See how all these things are important? Masculine, feminine, one is not more important than the other. They all are the creative forces that are necessary to bring forth life. But just like anything, you have a negative side and a positive side. Right now, this system we're in, we're bringing forth seeds of negativity. Why? Because the divine womb is contaminated with negativity, self-doubt. Think about that. Just think about that. Just think about it. Just pay attention. This is why they attack. They have to attack your mind. To get any God, you must attack the mind. Yes, I am saying that. We are all gods in some respect. God as the source of both poles, feminine matrix and masculine guardian, both divine from God. In Genesis, male and female, he female he created, and both reflect God's nature. Thus, in every union of man and woman, God is the invisible third partner, the originating principle that breathes life into their child. God as the invisible fourth in the triad. We often see the family as a man, woman, child, a triangle, but in reality, there's a fourth presence. God is the source field, the invisible ground that makes the triad possible. Without God, womb is empty, seed is powerless, and child cannot manifest. With God, the matrix becomes sacred, and the child becomes not just flesh, but a soul infused with divine spark. Archetypal mapping with God. Archetype role, God, Father, Source, the seed, Logos, the internal origin. Woman, Matrix, Mary. The womb, vessel, nurturer. Man, guardian, Joseph. The protector, steward, legitimizer. Child, Jesus. The manifestation, the word made flesh, the fruit. This forms a sacred quadrangle. God, woman, man, child. Universal, you notice how it's structured. God, woman, man, child. Because right, and that makes sense because what? In order for Christ to come along, God went to woman. He didn't go to Joseph, went to woman. He said, you're going to bring forth the Messiah. Okay. Universal application. Woman receives the seed, biological or spiritual. Man protects and provides stability. Child becomes the visible fruit of the union. God is always the unseen origin, the breath of life, the true father of all souls. Every family, consciously or unconsciously, mirrors this divine pattern. God is source, woman is matrix, man is guardian, child is manifestation. God plays into this as the ultimate origin, the true father, the logos that enters the matrix, without which man, woman, and child cannot fully manifest their divine archetype. So, man, as the image of God in Genesis, man and woman together are said to be creating the image of God. Imago Dei. The man carries the seed, sperma, literally the word used in Greek for word of logos seed. Because of this, man mirrors God's creative role. He delivers the seed of life. In this sense, the man is not God himself, but he bears God's image in his procreative role. So man is not the all God, but he is, he works in the image of God as like a sub. Woman is matrix of God. The woman is the matrix womb, the vessel that receives, nurtures, and multiplies. Without the womb, the seed remains potential, unmanifest. Together, man and woman mirror God's fullness. Man seed, principle of the word, spirit, spark. Woman womb, principle of matter, filled matrix. The union equal produces the child manifestation, logos made flesh. Man as priest, steward, not absolute God. While man can represent God in his role as seed bearer, he is still limited and mortal. The seed he carries is not his alone. Life ultimately comes from God. In ancient tradition, Egyptian Osiris was seen as a fertilizing spirit. Vedic Shiva was consciousness, inseminating Shakti's womb. Hebrew tradition always taught that even if a man gives seed, God breathes the soul. Thus, man channels God, but does not replace God. See, man channels, you must channel. Like what I'm teaching right now is a channeling from the spirit, the divine wisdom. Sophia. Where God's differentiates man's sperm biological life, God's breath equals soul, consciousness, and eternal spark. The two together living being. So man reflects God's creative role in giving seed. Woman reflects God's creative role in nurturing and multiplying. But only God gives spirit and soul, the true essence of being, esoteric understanding. Yes, in the act of creation, man is microcosmic reflection of God, but not God himself. He is God's image, a steward of life, a channel of divine spark. The true mystery is that both man and woman together mirror God more fully than either alone. So man and woman together fully embodies God or reflects God's spirit, not a part. Without the other, chaos. And you can see it, just look around you. You see it all the time. Of course, people try to deny it. But anyone that denies it and lives their life in a way that doesn't reflect what's in heaven, so it be on earth, as above, so below, they always live in chaos. Answer in short, man can be considered a reflection of God because he delivers the seed mirroring the divine, but man is not God. I did that one already. Here's a creation flow diagram. I had these diagrams. That I want to just share. I don't know if I have time because I read all of that. Oh, there it is. All right. I could show you this one. Let's see. That's not what I want to share. Let's do this. So we have the sacred family archetype, God, one man. This is the flow chart of it all. Right there. That's the flow chart. I had all these created, kind of give you guys a visual. Give me a second. Trying to pull up my different. All right. That's the diagram. God is the top in gold, the true source, giver of spirited soul. Man blue. Well, where's the oh, the man is in blue. He surrounds as protector of the woman. If you look at the chart, woman pink, right? The matrix womb that receives the and multiplies. Child white bottom, the manifestation of body plus soul fruit. The arrow shows God flows into both man and woman. Man delivers seed, woman nurtures it. God also directly breathes spirit into the child. The child becomes the union of man, woman, and God's spirit. There you go. There you go. So if you look at that chart, let me see if I can get up. If you look at it, you have how God goes down. Boom. So this is the soul comes from here, down here. Then it gets impregnated. The man becomes the guardian. Make sure that woman is protected. And protection comes not just from physical, but also from spiritual direction. And from there's the child. There's your source code. This is what you call source code. All right, there you go. So somebody said here, from one cell of the man and one from the woman to one. Then splitting up and dividing into creation goes out to the light. Then trees of cells within the body. That is miraculous. Yes. It starts off the sperma, the sperm, and the egg are one cell. Then they unite, and then this scientific term is called mitosis. They started to divide. One becomes two, then two becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, 16 becomes 32, and so on and so on and so on. You see? And there you go. There you have it. There you have it. So the true matrix, this matrix we've been thinking of negatively, it shouldn't be. And once you understand, the matrix is the woman's womb. That's the matrix we all came through. We all are from and connected to the matrix. That's where we from. We all come from Mary, aka the matrix. All right, that's all I have for today. It's 12 o'clock, right on the dot. All right. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth. You guys have, I'll see you on Tuesday. Peace.